Good evening. 10,000 drivers in Brighton have been fined in just 1 month for driving through new bus gates. That's more than 300 drivers a day, and there are calls for warning signs to be made clearer, as James Dunham now reports.
All 4 of these cameras made at least £300,000 last month. The City Council say the road was not designed to make money.
It's a definite trap.
Critics argue drivers are being treated as cash cows.
1 day in, 2 days in, 3 days in, they would have known that the bus gate, which is designed to keep motorists out, wasn't working. So it should have immediately gone back to the drawing board. The drivers in question, they're not being naughty. It's not like speeding or doing dangerous manoeuvres. In good faith, they're trying to drive along in a straight line, because that's what the road invites them to do.
Last year, the layout of this short stretch of road, around half a mile long, changed. Most of it is now designated buses and taxis only, an area known as a bus gate, which could be causing some of the confusion. Do you know what a bus gate is?
A bus gate? It's something new. I'm not sure what it is.
No, I never heard of it.
Myself, a few times I've thought, oh, that's open again, that road's open again now, so we can go there. So, yeah, it's really confusing.
9,618 fines, which cost £60 or half if paid within 2 weeks, were given out in October. That works out around 300 a day. Those figures were revealed at a council meeting. This was the reaction from one Labour councillor.
Doesn't even sound humanly possible to issue that many tickets in a day.
Brighton and Hove City Council is led by the Green Party. This is what one of their own then admitted.
I need to make it absolutely clear, I've been caught in that bus gate.
So we've got the words local traffic. You think that's confusing?
That is confusing, because what's happened is that cars are often coming down this road here. They come out of the car parks, they're going out of the city, and that says local traffic. And what does local mean? It could mean anywhere in Brighton.
Andrew Bogue manages a group representing bus passengers.
What we wanted to encourage more people to travel by bus, but that's not going to happen if the buses can't get through, because there are too many cars in the way, and cars that have often innocently taken the wrong turning.
The council says its enforcement measures meet national guidelines, and while they acknowledge it will be there to publicise the idea of a bus gate, it's down to road users to ensure they are aware of all signs and their meanings. James Dunham, ITV News.
Detectives in Surrey are warning people who own high-value watches to be on their guard after 8 thefts in just 4 months. They all involve the victims being approached by individuals posing as charity workers. They distracted them and then took their watches. Similar offences have been reported in Dorset and Hampshire.
In crowded areas, remember to pull your sleeve over your watches if you can, or actually just be mindful of the people in your physical space. Certainly in a COVID environment, it's really important to have that boundary and personal space. And if someone's in there, then just think, actually, there might be another reason why. There might be another reason why they're here, and that might be what's on my wrist.
Next tonight, thousands of children are unable to see a dentist, with experts warning the NHS system is broken. In Portsmouth, more than 32,000 children have not seen a dentist since March 2020. Derek Johnson has the story.
Dental waiting lists are getting longer and longer. Portsmouth is just one place suffering, with increased demand and fewer dentists now doing NHS work. Edward Batterbury spent 3 years trying to get an NHS dental appointment in Portsmouth.
Really disappointed and let down. It was such a shame to have to wait so long, and just to think other people are waiting as well.
Were you in a lot of pain at that time?
Yeah, I was in a lot of pain. In my wisdom tooth at the back, I had a long wait for it. Kind of awful to be treated that way.
The British Dental Association says tens of thousands are on the waiting list in the south, blaming the government for chronic underfunding, worried too about what it means for the very young.
As far as children go, they'll miss school and they'll be in pain. There'll be a problem for the parents looking after them as well, and we don't want that to happen. And we're having that already. We're seeing that with school children, that they're missing school time.
Health Watch in Portsmouth says people are ringing in all the time.
They are struggling to register with a local dentist. They find it difficult to know where to go for urgent dental care. If they go on the NHS website, all the dentists are saying they're taking on patients, but actually in reality when they phone the dentist, they're not taking on patients.
One issue is that COVID PPE protocols mean dentists can see fewer patients. And in just a few minutes talking to people on the street, it's clear how big an issue this is.
I've just done it this morning to try, and no luck.
How's that making you feel?
Well, dreadful, because I've got a couple of fill-ins and I can't eat properly.
But then says they are fully booked. So we have been trying, they say they are fully booked.
What problems have you got trying to get?
Just can't get an NHS one.
One of the South's MPs says it's not just about funding, it's about how services are provided.
We generally haven't trained enough healthcare professionals as a country for a very long time across every discipline. But what I'm asking for, and what I've been asking for this week, is for the government to actually lean in. And as well as doing those things like setting up a dental school here and those long-term changes to the contract, I want immediately for us to be provided with perhaps a mobile dental service that will actually provide treatment to people who really need it.
A Department of Health and Social Care spokesperson said that urgent care is back to pre-pandemic levels and that vulnerable patients and children will be prioritised. Meanwhile, an NHS South East spokesperson has said in a statement the NHS is working to identify the areas of greatest need to increase dental provision across the South East, including Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, and we will set out our plans in due course. Derek Johnson, ITV News.
Councillors in Southampton have apologised to residents for disruption to bin collections. The service has been hit by a shortage of drivers. The council says it is recruiting but warns normal collections may not return until spring next year.
Post-pandemic, I think like everyone, we're all having to look at, what do we need in staff, where have we got the resources, and there's a gap then between what we want to be able to do and where we are now. But our teams are doing a great job under difficult circumstances every day. We're very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for the public for their patience, but this is very much at the forefront of our mind and we're cracking on.
Arts venues in the south will have a share of more than £100 million from the government to help them recover from the pandemic. The Festival Theatre in Chichester is being given £348,000, while the Mary Rose Trust will receive almost £330,000.
I think we're going to feel the effects of the pandemic for years to come. That said, this summer we saw lots of visitors flock back to visiting their local attractions and museums, including the Mary Rose and Portsmouth Historic Dockyard, and that set us in a good stead. I think winter's going to be tough for everyone, which is why this Cultural Recovery Fund is so crucial to help us through that difficult trading period.
It certainly is vital, isn't it? And finally tonight, the Christmas market at Winchester Cathedral has opened after being cancelled last year. It's been running since 2006 and attracts around 400,000 visitors each year. It will open for more than a month, but this year the cathedral won't have its annual ice rink.
For all of us, and not just for the cathedral, although it's a really important part of our revenue stream, but also for the city. We know that visitors will come here to the market, but they'll also be spending on the high street, they'll be using public transport and taxi services, they'll be in the pubs and the restaurants and on the high street. So we all benefit from it, and we all get to share in the Christmas joy.
Oh, it does look beautiful, but such a shame we won't see those choristers skating this year. Now, what does the weather have in store? With all the details tonight, here's Chris Page.
Feels like home, whatever the weather. Valent Boilers and Heat Pumps sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
Hello there. Very good evening to you. Today across the region there's been a little bit of sunshine, but for most it stayed fairly cloudy, and it stays cloudy too into the first half of the weekend. But by Sunday something much colder and a little bit brighter drifts its way in from the north, and that change is all thanks to this cold front here, which takes control of the weather through the second half of the weekend, pushing the mild air out of the way, replacing it with something much colder, and that cold air stays in place as we go into next week too. We've got the cloud cover with us through the rest of this evening and overnight. It should stay largely dry, but where the cloud is thick enough, there could be the light outbreak of rain or drizzle. But by dawn, with the cloud, temperatures not dropping much lower than around 9 to 10 degrees. We start tomorrow then, Saturday, first day of the weekend, with the cloud cover. Again, the cloud could be thick enough to bring some light rain and drizzle, but for most it will be a dry day, overcast and cloudy. Just a little light rain for the likes of Oxfordshire by the end of the day tomorrow, but I think for most temperatures around 11 or 12 Celsius, 54 in Fahrenheit. It's through Sunday though that we see that cold front sink southwards. That will introduce much colder air, a few showers at times, and staying cold into next week. Good night.
Valent sponsors ITV Meridian Weather.
And that is all from us for tonight. We're back at 6:20 tomorrow, but from me and the team here tonight, thanks so much for your company. Have a wonderful weekend. Good night.